So libertarian free will is a conception of free will according to which it's incompatible with determinism, whether that determinism be naturalistic or theological. So in the theological tradition, libertarian free will is incompatible with the view that God determines everything that happens in the world down to the last detail. So there are a number of reasons people have thought that libertarian free will is important religiously. One of them is we're created in the image of God, and God is a creator. In order for us to be creators in our own right, we have to have libertarian free will. Another one is that we need free will for moral responsibility. If people are causally determined in all their actions, then they can't be morally responsible for them. And the third is that libertarian free will is needed to solve the problem of evil. How do we solve the question of how the existence of God can be consistent with the existence of evil in the world? Well, one traditional answer, going back to St. Augustine, is that human beings have free will, and God is justified in creating human beings with free will. And this explains why they can go wrong. If God determined all of our actions, human evil wouldn't be explainable in the same way. So what I think is that libertarian free will is a view that a Christian need not accept. I think we can be creators of a certain sort, maybe not creators in the fanciest sort that libertarian free will confers on them. The deeper questions are perhaps regarding moral responsibility and the problem of evil. On moral responsibility, I think that the kind of moral responsibility, the aspect of our practice of holding each other morally responsible that's inconsistent with determinism is the part that attributes desert, or at least basic desert, to individuals for what they do. So we think that if somebody does something bad and does it knowingly, that that person deserves blame and perhaps punishment just because the person has knowingly performed a bad action. So I think that if we were causally determined and didn't have libertarian free will, we wouldn't be morally responsible in that desert or basic desert sense. But there are other aspects of our practice of holding each other morally responsible that don't require libertarian free will. And they're the parts I care about more. So, for example, another part of the practice is moral education. We try to form people morally by addressing them in a moral situation. Or we aim at a reconciliation in a relationship. Or we aim at protection of individuals. We hold each other morally responsible, blame each other for those reasons as well. And those aspects of our practice of holding people morally responsible don't require, in my view, libertarian free will. And I think that basic desert is dispensable. So I think that we can do without basic desert and retain these kind of forward-looking aspects of our practice, namely moral formation, reconciliation, and protection. On the problem of evil, it's a difficult question, but in the end I think that the free will theodicy doesn't do a lot of work for us. The question always arises, even if God gives us the freedom of decision, why doesn't God step in and keep the decision from being realized in the physical world? We do this with our own kids. If you've got a child, say, who makes a free decision to hit his brother, you might not be able to affect the decision to hit the brother, but you can certainly hold his hand, restrain his hand. So even if God grants us libertarian free will, God could still restrain us, right? So the problem of evil arises at that point. I think that the more promising solutions to the problem of evil involve the idea of process. Okay, we see this in John Hick, for example. Also in Kant, the idea that evil is explained in the end by the requirement of evil for a certain kind of process of development. Okay? And I don't think it's possible for us to explain all the evils in these terms, but that's the general direction in which I want to go. And I'm also kind of an agnostic about the ability to explain evil. I think we're very limited in our ability to explain it. But a process view is the sort of direction in which I'd want to go.